This video is about how to make your geared notebook. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up and pull the pieces out and show you everything you need to know about preparing your geared notebook. Now, please note, the first and most important thing to know about this notebook is that it's made with what we call a living hinge. So you'll notice it's been cut in a special way so the wood will actually bend for you, and when we shipped it to you, we bent the wood to do that. Living hinges are notoriously delicate. We've pushed and sat on this one and played with it quite a lot and haven't been able to break it, but if you hit it wrong, do something wrong, you will probably break the living hinge. So be gentle with it. Probably don't want to toss it in your bag. It's one of those things that's going to stay at home or on your desk probably. But let's talk about what's in it. When we shipped it, we put the 2 notebooks that we've included in this box in it. That means that it helps me give it a way to give it a little bit of support. This is the piece that you're going to spend the most time decorating. And you'll notice that you've got holes here, all of this lovely stuff to decorate. I'm sure you'll want to sand this inside and out. Again, be a little careful when you're sanding the living hinge itself that you don't break anything with it. In your box, you also have a cute little U piece. This is going to be our brackets for our notebooks. Be gentle with this so that you don't pull out too far on that and break the hooks. I'll show you how your notebooks go in once we've assembled it. As always, there's a hardware pack. This one has lots of screws and nuts. And then you've got a gear bag. And in your gear bag, you will find 9 big gears and 9 little gears. At least I'm pretty sure that's the right number. Yep, 9 and 9. And you can sand those and make them smooth. Make sure you make the top surface of your notebook smooth and at least the back surface of the gears. Even if you don't want to decorate much, that much sanding is kind of a requirement to make this go together smoothly. And finally, we have a few little wood pieces that are going to make up our pin holder stack. These 4 little U's just are going to stack together nicely and get glued together. So you're not going to actually see the surface of those at all. You probably don't want to risk sanding them and get any risk of breaking them. But this is the top piece for the pin holder, so you probably do want to sand at least the top surface of that and then decorate it to give yourself a cool place to put your pin holder. And that's all it takes to get this project ready to build. Now that you've decorated all your parts and pieces, let's start with putting this notebook together. And I think I'm going to start with the gears this time. What you'll see, first I'm going to open my bag of screws. You should have 18 3/8 and 18 nuts. You've also got some spares in your box if for some reason there was a problem. But I don't anticipate that being the case. And what you'll see is you've got lines where you've got 3 holes and you've got lines where you've got 2 holes. Except for this one with 3, and that's going to be the big gear section. So I'm going to start with my big gears down at the bottom, and I'm just going to put them in. Put my screws through them. And you got a couple of choices here in terms of being paranoid about making sure everything spins and still making sure that the screws are loose enough. One option is just to go through and do all of this first. And you may want to do that anyway. Just make sure all of the gears sit in smoothly, and they should just all spin without a problem. If I move up to this one and I put a small gear here, you'll notice that that'll spin smoothly too. But because we've got so many gears and so much force, you're going to want to be really careful while you do it. And also remember, this is a living hinge, so be gentle with the hinge of your notebook as you put it together. So I'm going to take the first one, and I'm going to glue as I go, but I'm going to add gears carefully as I go as well. So I'm going to put a dot of glue on there, put my nut on, make sure it spins nicely. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the next little gear. Put a drop of glue on. And make sure those two spin carefully. And I'm just going to add gears out from the drive gear one at a time, making sure everything stays nice and smooth. Again, you can just go for it, but if you do, make sure you keep all the nuts really, really loose when you do it. Also, remember the rule about Sharpies and red and yellow and glue makes red. If you use yellow Sharpies on the inside of your notebooks, be really careful when you're adding this glue, because you don't want to end up with big puddles of red putting the glue on to glue your screws in place. So I'm just going to slowly work through this. One at a time. This also gives you a chance to see that we've only put even numbers of gears in a pattern. If you put odd numbers of gears together in a circle or a triangle or whatever shape you choose to make, they won't spin, because gears turn right and then left and then right, or counterclockwise and clockwise, however you want to describe it. So you're going to want to be, you can kind of play with some of that here as well. But I'm just building a grid of gears. And they're really fun. And I can't wait to see what you did with decorating. Every so often you'll run into a gear that's just stubborn. There we go. If you watch more than one or two of these videos, you'll notice that occasionally I run into tricky parts too. Now, if you opted to put them all on and test them all with the nuts first, which you've probably had happen by now, is you've had them, all the screws come off the back, all the nuts come off the back at once on you. They all loosen up. You've got to make sure you put glue on these nuts or they won't hold together. Making pretty good progress so far. The other thing to be careful of with putting glue on nuts, and notice I'm just essentially going until we're flat here, is that you don't want them to tighten up and the glue to squeeze through to the gear itself. So be really careful with that, and that you're not losing the glue and having it ooze into the teeth. So once you start putting glue on like that, what you want to make sure you do is that you keep spinning it so as the glue dries, it's not getting in the screws themselves. So if you haven't just fast forwarded ahead, you learned a new Laura trick for the day. Keeping going here. And again, you'll notice I'm being pretty careful with this hinge. You don't have to be super careful with it, but I am paying attention to it and making sure I don't squish it. Living hinges are one of the most amazing things, but they are a little bit delicate. This notebook design itself came from a cool company called Obray. We're happy to give them credit. You should look them up if you have access to a laser. They do some really fun laser cut designs, including a set of swatches of all different kinds of living hinges. See, something just tightened up on me. So you can look at Obray if you want some ideas. That's much better. About other kinds of living hinges and other things you can do. That's why we're checking them every time we go add a new one. Make sure that nothing tightens up. So one of the reasons super glue works so well for this is that it just gives you a nice quick drying thing in compression. So putting the gears on and putting the super glue on the teeth means it dries fairly quickly. But you do have a few seconds to adjust things if you need to. Okay, we're still spinning. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Once we're done with this part, putting the rest of the notebook together is really fast. So now I've got my row of big gears in place, and I'm ready for my next set of little gears. There we go. My next little gear back here. And I'm going to do a big one down here next and get this corner taken care of. And two more after this. And then we'll put the inside of the notebook together. Still spinning nicely both directions. Make sure that didn't just tighten up on me. One of the tricks is if you're going to test it, you got to pay enough attention to make sure it doesn't tighten up when you do that first bit of testing, or it's bad. And all of this just takes practice. So we do lots of gears. We've got one more project to build. I haven't built my box yet. Depending on what order you're building them in, you're going to get lots of practice with putting gears on top and making sure they stay nice and loose. The box theme is office gear. I could have done office gears. That's what the professor wanted it to be. I didn't do it. So office gear it is. We thought everybody needs lots of gears in their office, and there's the front of my notebook. So now let's open it up. First, when we're ready to put this holder in, I want to check and make sure my pad fits right. And I went to check it earlier, and I discovered that some of the Amazon basic pads are different than others. We found an inconsistency. I got basics because I figured they'd all be perfectly the same and you could easily get replacement notebooks. But this one is a little wider, and these are a little narrower. So we're going to make sure in your box you get ones that match. When you reorder them, I can't promise if you'll get the wider or the narrower ones. They're 5x8 books. But this one fits perfectly in here, so I'm going to use this one as I put this sample together. What you got in your box should be right. We're going to test that, but make sure you validate it first. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue down that top section and the middle section here. And notice that I'm aligning it to the left side. That's because we want to put our pin holder over to the right of that. So I'm just going to put it against the left edge of the living hinge. So
you want to make sure that you're not covering any part of the hinge though, or it will break.
yes, don't cover the hinge. So I'm putting a little glue on there. Hopefully that's not too much. As always with super glue, less is more. I'm just going to glue that to the top. Yep, it's oozing out, so I'll wait a minute before I put my notebook back in there. I'll let that dry nicely, and while we're letting that dry, I'll go ahead and put my pin holder together. If you're using the pin we provided, it's big enough that I've got to have all 4 layers. If you're using another pin, you might be able to get it to work with less layers. A little bit of, remove a little bit of that extra glue. Okay. And this is the part of the project where you will almost certainly get super glue on your fingers. I'm sorry it happens. Somebody reminded me yesterday that you can get little acetone pads in fingernail polish remover packets. So if you can't stand having super glue on your fingers, you can use fingernail polish remover, and you can even get it in little sizes. I just accept that I'm going to get glue on my fingers, and I clean it off in the shower the next morning, but I understand not liking super glue on your fingers. It's particularly annoying when you go back to use your cell phone. So making sure this gets lined up properly. The better the alignment, the prettier it will look. But I didn't want to do a box with sides on it for this, so the 4 little U's are perfect. You just got to make sure you get them lined up right. And then I'm going to glue this on top like that, and then I'm going to glue my U down. Flip that over, line it up. Make sure that goes down nicely. Make sure when you glue it down, you leave the hole at the top. And then I'm just going to line it up over here just past where the corner of the curve of the book is. You should still have plenty of height to put in another pin. Now, if you want to use a different pin than ours and it's narrower, you might only need 3 layers, but I know my pins need 4 layers, and you probably want them to give yourself some flexibility. So I'm just going to do that up a little bit, and nice and flat against the edge. You see my pin fits in there really nicely. It's just the perfect height for the pin. I think you won't have a problem with most pins. And then I'm going to grab one of my narrower pads and put one of my narrower pads in it that's nice and stuck, and close the top. And I have a notebook all ready to go, all ready to take whatever notes I need to take, whether it's phone notes or thinking deep thoughts, anything I need to do. Thanks so much.